warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Athifah Oktavia Rahmadini from Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. And I'm from Department of English Education, Class 4A. Today, I will review one of the reference book with the title is Teaching English for Beginning Level, written by Amirullah Abduh and Rosmaladewi, published by State University of Makassar Press in 2016. This book contains 115 pages and presents how to teach English for level beginner. This book is particularly suitable for educators or aspiring educators working with early level English language learner, especially as children, as it covers the definition of entry-level teaching, basic teaching principle, classroom management, different approaches to language teaching, as well as in strategies for listening, speaking, writing, and writing too. The book also discusses the importance of assessment, evaluation, curriculum, syllabus, and lesson planning, as well as providing insight into mentoring program for new teacher in education. This book consists of 11 chapters. In chapter 1, the title is Learners of Beginning Level. This chapter explains what the definition of beginning level is, children as learners, and what will be explained in more depth in the next chapter. In chapter 2, the title is Teacher of Beginning Level. So, this chapter will explain about the principle of basic teaching and how to teach, cover a pivotal point for teacher to get through when they teach. In chapter 3, the title is Classroom Management. This chapter explaining that there are several important things that can be summarized for this chapter, namely like 4 principles of how teachers use their physical presence in class, and seating arrangement have advantages and disadvantages. In chapter 4, the title is Teaching Approaches for Beginning Level. So, this chapter explains that teaching children is very challenging, and we need many approaches in teaching language to children. In chapter 5, the title is Teaching Listening to Beginners. This chapter will discuss about teaching listening for beginners and what are the strategies for teaching listening. In chapter 6, the title is Teaching Speaking for Beginning Level. This chapter will discuss about several strategies for teaching speaking, as well as aspect of difficulty in speaking for beginning level. In chapter 7, the title is Teaching Reading. So, this chapter will explain about several strategies for teaching reading, as well as aspect of difficulty in reading. In chapter 8, the title is Teaching Writing. So, this chapter will explain about several strategies for teaching writing, as well as aspect of difficulty in writing. In chapter 9, the title is Assessment of Beginning Level of English. This chapter will discuss about defining assessment, evaluation, and testing. In chapter 10, the title is a curriculum, syllabus, and lesson planning. This chapter will discuss about curriculum and syllabus and lesson planning too. And in chapter 11, the title is Mentoring and Induction Program for Beginning Teacher. So this chapter will discussing how to literature strongly indicate that developing mentoring is very important to the induction experience of beginning teacher in secondary education, and there are challenges faced in developing mentoring and induction programs. Next, we will discuss each chapter. In chapter 1, this book highlights basic theories for teaching, what stress beginning learners typically have, and how their learning environment can support them. It also talks about different ways to people learn just starting out. In chapter 2, it will give explanation about understanding what teacher believe about teaching. This chapter explore important things to focus on when teaching beginner and what qualities make a teacher really good at this level. It also gives tips on how to become a perfect teacher for beginning level student. In chapter 3, this chapter will discuss about how to managing a classroom well, like how to interact with the student and different way to arrange desks to help students to learn better. So it will give you a best way to set up a classroom. For chapter 4, this chapter will find how to teach beginners, how to way to use the methods and discussion how to use methods in school and other place of learners. In chapter 5, strategies for teacher beginners is here, like how to listen better our discourse here, including what makes listening hard and activities to improve listening skill. These chapters have the work best to listening skill. In chapter 6, it focuses on speaking skill. It outlines way to teach beginners to speak clearly. It talks about common problem with speaking, such as activities to get better at speaking, and the most important point, how to teach speaking to children. Chapter 7 will give you a technique for teaching beginner how to read, a long way to overcome reading problem, activities that help them read better, and this chapter have the best way to teach reading. And in chapter 8, it will discuss about strategies for teaching beginners how to write are covered here, including how to solve problems, activities to improve writing skill, and the most important ideas about teaching writing to beginners is will discuss in this chapter. In chapter 9, it will tell you about assessment, evaluation, and testing for beginners learning English. So it will talks about why we assess them, how we do assess, what we focus on, different way to do assessment, and how we grade them. So in this chapter, we will discuss about how to testing a beginners, how to assess their. And in the chapter 10, this book explain what curriculum and syllabus. So in this chapter, we'll give you a good lesson plan for beginners, for children, and the best way to plan a lesson for beginners. And for the last chapter, chapter 11, it focuses on helping a new teacher. So this chapter will explain why mentoring is important, talk about the program to help a new teacher, how to make these programs better in Indonesia, and ends with a summary and suggestion how to help a new teacher even more. So each chapter will help a new teacher for give learner to beginning level. So this book provides a very comprehensive guide for teacher of beginning English language learners, from how to manage a classroom to developing listening, writing, speaking, and writing skill, as well as assessment method and curriculum design. This book is very useful and suitable for new educator or those who want to improve their teaching strategies, especially as a new teacher. It's very helpful. That's all the review of this book. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.